Welcome to Mental Health, the Crisis in Our Time. My name is Ian Bergen. I'm the host of this series of programs with the purpose of calling attention to the mental health crisis in our country and how we can come together as a community to support emotional well-being, particularly among our young people. We know the statistics, we've talked about them a lot, about the staggering rate of mental health issues, including, especially for young people, anxiety, depression, substance misuse. We're seeing suicidal ideation. We are seeing cutting. Eating disorders are rising now at a rather rapid level for both boys and girls. And now other addictions are surfacing, particularly around sports, betting, and also porn addiction. We're seeing kids as young as 11 years old starting to go on porn sites. But for this particular program, I wanted to focus on areas that pose a lot more danger to our kids, particularly around the areas of substance misuse and social media. The world of social media is where our kids are living every single day for hours and hours. And it's filled with dangers that we can't even begin to fathom. And this is not at the risk of being overly dramatic. It is the reality. And too often what we're hearing is from very loving, wonderful parents, it doesn't happen in my town, it's not my child. But unfortunately, they often learn too late, yeah, it is our town, and it is my child. And we're just losing too many young people. Their lives are being derailed. And that behind the smiling faces that we see, sometimes there's an awful lot of pain going on. And we know one thing for sure in our community, that Franklin police are on the front lines of the mental health issue. They can offer extraordinary insight and help for parents especially to understand what's going on. My guests today are the community service officers from the Franklin Police Department, representing a force of caring, compassionate people who have devoted their lives to service in our community. And my guests especially connect with young people, and they are kind and funny, and but more importantly, for our kids, they serve as role models when we need, especially when we need adults to guide people, and when they're spending so much time on social media and they're being influenced by the Kardashians, by the Silicon Valley content creators, and adults are losing a lot of the influence that they once had over kids. So it is my great honor to welcome Amanda Ayer and Dave Gove, who are community service officers, and to thank you both for coming here and being part of this. I know how busy you are, and it's a lot to come and sit down and devote your time to this, so I'm greatly appreciative. But I think it's really important for the people in Franklin to know who you are, what you do, because I think people don't really I didn't fully have a concept of everything that you do. So I'm going to start with you, Amanda. Can you kind of give us a little bit of your background, how you got here and what you do, kind of all that in one thing?
A little snippet?
Yeah, could you give me a snippet?
Well, I grew up in Uxbridge, so not too far away.
Yeah.
Got into dispatching, and then Franklin said, hey, do you want to be an officer? And I said, yes, please. So they put me through academy 7 years ago. And my whole life, from since I was 14, 15, I've been working with kids. I was a preschool teacher for a little bit.
No way.
Yep, before, in between getting my master's degree and becoming a dispatcher. So, love that age group. It's my favorite. And
it's tough to love that age group. It's a challenge, I'm just saying.
Small people, small problems.
That's true, yeah.
So, which is great because I get to have the preschool in town. So that's where I spend a lot of my time. But then about 4 years on, an opening came up in the community service unit, and applied and was able to get it, which was amazing because it was so early in my career, and I just love coming to work every day. Now I go to the Horseman School, the Oak Street Elementary, ECDC, the charter school as well, and I get to have Ben Franklin with me every day, so bring him around and let him be the show, which is awesome.
That's good, because the attention gets focused on
him.
That's
yes,
right, and
that's
we love
like.
that. Yeah, we do like that. Yes. And then before you tell us exactly what the role is that you, all of you, both of you take on. Can you tell us a little bit about you? 'Cause
Absolutely.
yes.
My name's Dave Gove. Been a police officer here in Franklin since 2006. I grew up in the town of Medway, right next door, where I started my career as a police officer. I started working over there as a dispatcher. I then transferred to the town of Wellesley and worked there for several years, and then I transferred here to Franklin in '06 and have been here ever since. I started the community service unit back in 2017.
Oh, you started?
I started working in the community services unit.
Sorry, I missed.
Actually, Danny McLean
Did he?
and Chris Spillane.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
like the
my two
founders of it
people.
all.
Oh, for
Yeah, those
heaven's
guys
sake.
were amazing. So
Yeah.
they were great role models for us to follow, and
Okay.
they showed us exactly how to do it. And so I've been working there since 2017
Wow.
now.
Yeah.
And I work at the Remington Jefferson School. I work at the Parmenter School, and we fill in all the schools when we need to be.
Now, when
So-
you say help us with this, help me with this, because it's just one of me, not us. In terms of what that means when you're in the schools, that's part of what you do, and what does that involve? Like you go to the schools each day, but when you're there, what do? Do you want to start and help me tell so people understand when you're in the schools what that means?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we start with arrival.
Yeah.
Just greeting all the kids as they come in, giving them high fives, asking how they are,
Yeah.
everything. Trying to get smiles out of them,
Yeah.
and sometimes they're not.
No, because you
super
know how they
happy.
start a day. Some of them, what they're coming from. Sometimes,
Absolutely.
sometimes it's the only warm. Yeah. Anyway.
Right. And sometimes we have like dysregulated kids who just can't get into the building.
Yeah.
We certainly help with that. The dogs, Ben, Franklin, Frankie, are super help with that. Just being able to get the kids past their block and into the school so that they can
Yeah.
start their day.
I just, when I was thinking as a middle school principal, that was a big issue sometimes, and I didn't necessarily always have the skill to be able to do it, and to get them in the door, because and that, from what I've talked to the other principals now, they say that's a big problem. So I'm glad you guys are dealing with that.
Yeah. So just support the staff
Yeah.
in that and help them out, and then throughout the day, just kind of walk around the schools, popping into classrooms. I like to go into the cafeteria into lunch, sit down with the kids, just ask them
That's
about
great.
their day.
That's great.
I get to celebrate their wins with them. They get to have another person that they get to tell their win to, or even ask questions about something going on. If they like a boy, and
Yeah.
I say, "Okay, how is he treating you? Okay, let's
Yes.
talk about it."
This is great.
And you just spend our days in the schools, sometimes going into classrooms, reading, or doing different projects, or having different talks with them, like safety talks,
Yeah.
internet safety, other safety talks with them as well. And then we have dismissal and getting them home safe and on those buses. And
That's right. And you said beyond that, there's another aspect of your job too. It isn't not just this. That's huge. Can you
Correct.
speak a little bit about what other?
Yeah, we're not just the school resource officers,
Right.
we're also community officers.
Which is why it used to be called school but now
Yes.
it's
Now we're a
broadened, hasn't
community
it?
services unit.
Yeah.
So now we handle we handle like we go to the senior center, we handle different things up there. We go to the Sunshine Club with the dogs up there all the time.
That's great.
So that's an absolute blast.
It's forming all those partnerships and connections.
Absolutely. We go to the nursing homes in town and visit with those people. We go into...
I had no idea.
Oh yeah, we try to go into everything we can. Any business
Yes.
that needs any requests or has any type of concerns or anything, they just give us a call. We'll go in, we'll talk with them, we sit down with them. We bring the dogs in for visits all the time to so many different places. We also go up to we do Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, like I said, any type of clubs that call us, we are there for them. We handle most of the outreach stuff that goes on in town, so we work hand in hand with all our clinicians in handling those, and we usually drive them around, bring them to different places if need be.
Would you
do
say?
events as well. So we hold
Yep.
a camp for middle schoolers during the summer.
Wait a second. Talk about that. That's important.
So we
Yeah.
have every year we do a week-long camp during the summer for middle schoolers, and just giving them some experience with policing and law enforcement, the different things that we do, but also we give them some leadership and
Yeah.
discipline experience as well. We're a paramilitary organization, right? So we use that in our camps. We put them like into squads.
I bet
and
kids love that.
Oh, they do.
Oh,
we
yeah.
focus a lot on team building
Of course.
Yes,
and working
they,
together.
their squad is working together on something. Last year we had a bear cat help
Yeah, so we had
heavy
one
is
of the
that
armored
Bearcat?
Bearcats come up that we use for our SWAT team, and we had teams and we had the kids pulling it
Oh my
Yeah.
with a
goodness.
giant rope.
Oh wow.
So there was a great competition, and these are kids that come from the 3 middle schools together. So a lot of them don't even know each other.
Yeah.
Which is great because they meet new friends, they
course.
make new friends, and it's fantastic.
How do kids, is that through referral through the schools, or do they apply to I'm just curious how
We post it online, and then anyone
Beautiful.
who has a kid in town, and even just connected to the town. So the charter school kids
Yeah.
can go as well, because they go to town or go to school in Franklin. So they just apply online, and as long as we have room, we accept.
There you go. I mean, just speaking about the importance of that connection to, particularly to kids who need to feel seen,
Yeah.
and to someone to say hello, but senior citizens as well. You know,
Absolutely.
the
Yes,
incredible
absolutely.
epidemic of loneliness, and then when you have, that caring and that connection, it can make someone's day, week, whatever, and in that time, I'm sure you can pick up some issues or problems that are out there from being in the schools, especially, to see
Definitely.
yeah. Do you think, do kids ever come up to you and share things about their lives?
Yes,
with
all the
Oh,
time they
yes.
do, because they get used to seeing us there every
Exactly,
single
right.
day, which is fantastic. We become a familiar face.
Yeah.
So they will literally come up to you and say, hey, can I talk to you? Hey, I have a question for you.
That's
Hey, can I? So you bring them in an office, and we sit down and we
That's
have a
great.
conversation, and they're fantastic. So we get a lot of different kids come up like that. The other major thing that we do that people don't realize is just by us being at the school every day, our police cars being out front, we have a lot of kids that are scared to come to schools when they watch the news. They see a shooting going on somewhere.
That's
they
a
see
very good
something
point.
else
I
going
never
on somewhere
thought of
else.
that.
They pull up, they see a police car there. They're like, oh, okay. So they feel a lot more calm, a lot more comfortable to come
But
into
I
the
think
building.
people maybe underestimate the trauma that young people feel about,
Oh, yeah.
possible attacks in a school, because they do see the news, and I don't know, are there still drills going on? Do they
We
still?
do. We practice.
Yeah, which is important, but it also scares kids, when they have to do, it's a combination of things, but to see that you in that role there, hey, there are people here to protect us.
Yeah.
So, but shifting topics a little bit, whatever information you can share, because some of this stuff, like I was mentioning, just being, a little bit part of the SAFE Coalition, dealing with mental health and substance issues, and some of the stuff that's sort of out there in the community, that one of the reasons for doing this interview is really to help educate parents out there, and to understand some of the dangers that are out there, particularly around substances. Can you speak from your experience what you're seeing or hearing through your work about some of the things that parents should be aware of? I don't know who wants to start with that one, but
Sure. I would say even just screens in general can be the addiction that we see.
Yeah.
And it can affect children's mental health a great deal in a few different ways.
Yeah.
So there are studies that they're doing on the effects of using screens and social media, and like the dopamine hits that people have and the instant gratification, and the way that lights up the brain is actually the same way as cocaine lights up
Yeah.
the brain. So you're getting the same kind of feelings. So you're getting those same kind of addictions. We'll get calls that we would have 12-year-olds completely out of control, smashing up a house because mom or dad said no more screen time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they don't realize, like, why are they so behavioral? Well, because you just took away their drug.
Yeah.
So that's something to be very cognizant of, especially in developing minds.
Yeah.
Is to not give them too much screen time. And that's even with video games, Roblox and Fortnite and all these different
It
games.
becomes very quickly addictive, doesn't
Very
it?
quickly
Yeah.
addictive.
Yeah.
And then not only that, you have 24/7 connection
Yeah.
with these kids. So when we used to have problems at school, you have a bully, you go home, and then you don't have to talk to them anymore. Now it's a constant
Right.
connection and constant bullying. And so we see kids, they don't want to remove themselves from the friend group
No.
because then they feel like they're going to miss out, even though they're being mistreated, because those are the people that they have. So they feel like they can't leave. And they just get into situations where they get depressed, they get anxious, and
It's contributing to all of that, isn't it? It is.
Yes.
It's huge.
exactly.
All the stuff that's happening. And before we came on, you were talking about the world, the social media. These kids are interacting with the whole world,
Yeah.
and there are a lot of dangerous people. There's a lot of
There
bad
are.
stuff happening out there.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah. And the
absolutely.
whole
Yeah.
world has access to them.
Yeah.
So they can find information that they shouldn't necessarily be finding at their age, which is why we see those behaviors younger and younger. But then the world can then touch them and victimize them in different ways that they couldn't before.
Yeah. And one of the things that just in reading about it is when even kids, when they're scrolling on social media, and they even, let's say they're just curious about researching a drug or marijuana or whatever, because of the algorithms that are on there, kids are able to, drug pushers are immediately connecting with them.
Right.
And from what Jen at Safe Coalition was saying, that these kids they're getting access to drugs, but they're tainted, and I don't know if there's been talk in town about like the danger of fentanyl that's being laced in some of these substances that kids are using.
Right.
Can you speak anything about that? Are you hearing about it, seeing it out there?
So what we're seeing a lot of in this town right now is the vaping.
Oh, yes.
We're seeing a lot of the vaping going on right now. Because it's so easy to hide. Some of them look like pens, some look like they're phone chargers, and parents don't pick up on that stuff.
Right.
And a lot of the stuff for any of this type of issue with the social media, the substance abuses, things like that, parents just need to be involved in their kids' lives.
Yeah.
Like, don't just be looking at your phone. Get up, talk to your kids, have a conversation, follow them into their room.
Yeah.
Like, it's still your house, it's your room, you're letting your kids live there.
That's right.
So go in there with them. Don't look around. You don't have to snoop through your kid's room unless you suspect something, but go in your kid's room, have a conversation with them, sit on their bed, see what they're doing. Like, if they won't ever let go of their backpack, there's usually a reason.
It's a sign, right?
Because when I got home from school, I just threw my backpack on the floor because I didn't want it anymore because it was all
That's
school
right.
stuff.
Say, get it
was
out of
school
here.
stuff. I didn't want it.
Yeah, that's a very good thing.
So
if they're holding on to
that thing for dear life,
that's
there's something going on there.
interesting.
Like, why?
Right.
Yeah.
Because when kids they don't want to be at school.
Yeah.
They don't want to do homework.
Right.
So if they're guarding that backpack, there's something else
That's
going
right.
on there. So again, you don't have to go snooping through it, but have a conversation with your kids. Find out what they're going through. Ask them questions.
Yeah.
Be annoying. That's what I do as a dad. I'm annoying. And
That's
my
right.
kid's like, but that's
Ask
how you get
questions,
involved into your
right.
kids' lives.
Yeah.
And same with like I said, the vaping it's not bad at the middle schools.
Not as bad.
High schools, you see it more.
Yep.
But the pills that people are ordering, because again, they're ordering them online.
That's it.
Which you don't know where that's coming from. You don't know who that person is
And
on
Jen
the
said
other end.
most of the ingredients are fake that are in these.
absolutely.
Is,
It's
and
all chemicals.
Chemicals.
Yep, synthetics and
And
chemicals.
it's coming from China and India. This is what your kids are seeing online, and it's.
Right.
And the other thing, I had a couple of interviews. I was going to ask you about this. One young man was saying that he was engaging with someone from, I don't know, Germany or something. Mm-hmm. He didn't. I didn't ask him to go into detail, but he engaged in, made himself very vulnerable to this person. I don't know if he was taking pictures or sending pictures out there, but the extortion, the blackmail.
That's huge.
Yeah.
It's
It's huge right now.
Isn't it awful?
Yes.
But that's what parents don't get.
And part of the issue too is that when parents don't realize that this is happening, it can happen so quick.
Yeah.
It can go from, there's a couple kids that in the matter of 4 hours, they sent a picture they shouldn't have
That's it.
to someone they didn't know. And then what they do is they just bombard them with threats and extortion, and then we've had kids, not here but in the nation, take their life.
Yes.
Because they feel like they're in too deep, they can't fix it, they can't tell their parents because they did something wrong. And a big thing is not only educating parents on what to look for and how to educate their kids on not making those mistakes online,
That's it, right.
but educating them that they can come to us, to parents, to officers, to teachers, whatever trusted adult. If they make a mistake like that, it's not the end of the world.
But you know what it is, and it's believing that it's not my kid. If we make the assumption it could be my
Absolutely.
kid, then you'll have those conversations, and there's no stigma about it.
Right.
And to say, if you make a mistake or something, I'm always here for you. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be my perfect child that I tell the neighbors how wonderful you are all the time. Because a lot of kids don't want to hurt their parents, right?
And when we grew up, we made mistakes, and nobody necessarily saw them.
That's right.
You know, they were gone. These kids, they're growing up in front of cameras. So they're going to make the same mistakes that we all made, but now
There's proof. There's tracking of it all.
And so now they feel even more pressure to not try to let it out or not try to say something because they're supposed to be this picture perfect kid because they see, Instagram, the Kardashians.
That's right, of course.
And those picture perfect worlds but they don't realize that those are all fake,
Yeah,
right?
that's it. Yeah.
It's an online life.
But
It's
but
not
the
their
other
real
thing
lives.
too, and I know this had been existing, but I think kids find ways to go around. But I know there's been a talk of a lot of pressure of particularly of boys pressuring girls to post pictures. If you love me, you'll post a nude picture of yourself or whatever. And that increasingly is happening because there's that pressure. I'm wondering if that's part of the conversation you're hearing. Is that talked about? Are parents aware of that? I mean, do they know that this kind of stuff is going?
So like you said, we do deal with these things, and the parents do come in. They're like, "Well, I can't believe it's my child.
I know,
I never thought it was
right?
my child."
Right.
It's like, well, it happens unfortunately to so many people that don't know about it.
Right.
And like you were just saying that these pictures these kids can take on their phones nowadays, a lot of them just send them out.
Yeah.
And like we have conversations, we host classes on this with the students.
You
and,
do?
And we
Yes.
talk. We don't allow parents in there when we talk because we talk very direct. We let the kids ask
I
any
didn't know
questions
this.
they want.
Oh, this is great.
So we teach classes on this, and we tell the kids. I'm like, so I send Officer Amanda, who's my girlfriend, a picture of myself. We now have a fight. We get broke up or whatever. She now wants to revenge me. She sends it out to 10 of her friends, who then send out to 10 of their friends, and it just keeps going. Before you know it, everyone has that
That's
picture,
it.
and you
That's
can't
it.
get that picture
Yeah.
back. So it's so difficult. So we're always like, if you ever need to have that intimacy or closeness of your boyfriend or girlfriend, you do that in person.
Yeah.
You don't do that on your films. You don't take pictures. You don't send them. You don't do any of that stuff because before you know it, the whole entire school is going to have
Yeah.
that. So we speak very frankly with the kids, and we tell them exactly this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to go on. And if you ever do make a mistake like that, you need to go tell your parents
There you
immediately.
go. That's it.
Like
Don't.
they're going to have your back. They may get upset. They may take your phone away, which is what the kids really freak out about.
That is exactly
They're
it.
afraid. Every one of them is afraid they're going to take their
That's
phone
it.
away.
If I say that, I'm going to
Yeah.
be punished.
Yes.
It's fun. It's helping parents understand how to deal with that. I just remember the first time it happened when I was a principal, and it was this just lovely 8th grader, and all of a sudden it started to come to my attention that she had sent a photo to one person, and it went out to the Severian Brothers hockey team. It went
Yeah.
out, and the humiliation that she felt and her family, and that was it. That just wonderful, loving parents. No, it wouldn't be my kid.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah,
But part of that too is setting boundaries before any of that happens.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're gonna, if they always have access to their phone and then they're addicted to their phone, they're gonna freak out about losing their phone. But if it's always a thing that I don't get my phone until 6 o'clock, I have to give my phone back at 9 o'clock.
there you go.
Mom and dad have all the passwords to everything in that phone. If that's always the case, then it's going to be more normal and more understood. Like, yeah, this is
Right from the beginning.
yeah,
Right.
because it's still the parents' phones. So the parent can go and check anything they want on that phone. So, and again, they don't need to snoop all the time, but I think a good rule of thumb is saying, hey, every week I'm going through your phone.
Yeah. There you go.
And then maybe randomly too.
It's the parents' phone. We tell that to the parents when we
Right.
talk to them as well. Like, that is your phone. Well, no, it's my daughter's phone. Oh, the daughter pays the bill? Well, no, I do. So that's your phone. And
But you're also
we're like,
protecting them.
and we're like, it's your job to protect them. That's
Yeah,
exactly what we say
exactly.
to them. And like, so that is your phone. So once in a while, take that phone. I go, I don't even care if you look through it. Take it. Let the child think you're going through the phone. Or
Right.
sit with your child.
Yeah.
Have them
Sit
go
with
through
your
the phone
yeah.
and show you.
Yeah.
And my rule of thumb was always, if you're not going to send it to me, should you send it?
Right. That's good. Yeah.
Or I always say your grandmother, but
Yes.
you're going to send that to Mimi? No, then you probably shouldn't have sent that. That's
Care
what I
about
said.
Mimi a little
So
bit more.
Maybe. But what I was going to say too is that one of the things, this was new to me, and was the idea that the way kids are getting pills and things delivered often is that the drug dealers are dropping them off in mailboxes or DoorDash deliveries. So someone was saying rule of thumb is if your child's getting tons of DoorDash deliveries, you better watch out and check their Venmo, right?
Yes.
Because that's where the sports betting, if you're seeing all these small, right? So checking Venmo or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Always keep an eye on any of those accounts and having them connected too with the parents, like parents connected with their kids' accounts.
Yeah,
is
there you go.
also
Right.
a good
Yeah.
idea as well.
Oh, yeah. So is there anything else? Because I don't want to keep you. I wanted to get this message out, but anything else that you think parents need to know, or advice that you would have to parents that we haven't? I don't want to keep you, but I want to make sure that this gets out, in terms of what you think parents need to know. Because for me, from my perspective, I learned from all of these interviews, and then as part of SAFE, then I can share this with all the people that I interact with, so you become ambassadors. So the more information you tell people like me, then I can get it out. But I'm just curious if there's anything else that the parents...
Yeah, the biggest thing we tell the parents is it can happen to your child.
Yes.
It can happen in your household.
Yes.
And it may happen in your household, but you need to know how to handle it when it does happen.
Yeah.
So have those conversations now with your kids before it happens.
Yeah.
Let them know you're here for them no matter what. They're going to make mistakes. Let your kids know they're going to make mistakes,
Yeah.
and it's okay to come to us and say, hey, listen,
That's
I
crucial,
messed up.
isn't it?
I really messed up, Mom.
Yeah.
I need your help. Or Dad, I need your help. So they really need to have that open line of communication when they first get those technologies in there, and the apps as well. Be careful what your kids are on.
Yeah.
Make sure you, like I said, once in a while, say, hey, what's going on with this today? What are you looking at today? And just take a quick few seconds, look, because they will sit there and scroll and scroll and scroll, and before you know it, like you said, they're stuck to that now.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's taken away from their sleep times. It's taken away from their
Sleep
family
depri-
time.
it's huge.
It's taken away from kids being outside with
Yeah.
their friends. Face-to-face
Yeah.
conversations don't really happen much anymore. We see it at school, like when they're on the buses, they're texting each other, sitting next to each other.
Yeah.
It's like, have a conversation. So the parents, they just need to be involved. Be there. Be there, let your kids know no matter what happens, what they ever do in
Yeah.
their entire life, you will be there and support them.
You know what? Just a final question for me, and I just going off on that. Just because I get concerned too about the whole access to pornography at these young ages and how distorting it is for. It's just something else parents need to, again, not my kid. Yeah, it is.
It
just
is.
and at least have conversations about that, right?
I would say probably 75, 80 to 90% of middle schoolers have all seen it.
Have all seen.
Yeah.
Have all seen it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there are so many hypersexualized kids nowadays, even going down to elementary school,
That's
that know words and things that I'm shocked at and have to look up.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, what? And they're very knowledgeable nowadays because it's all at their fingertips.
Yeah.
That's, to me, it's you said it, hypersexualized. That really is of concern to me,
Yes.
because it's childhood. It's going away.
It is.
Right.
It's the innocence, and it's all those other things that kids could be doing. They're 11 and 12. They're devoting hours and hours instead of out playing flag
Right.
football or right. I mean, this is
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
And again, I think the biggest thing is for them to remember having boundaries with this, because it's very hard when your kids starting to be 6th grade, 7th grade. They want a phone. They want to connect with all their friends. They have group chats that they're just chatting and chatting all day long, and the kids want that because that's how they're interacting. But you need to remember that they're developing. They don't know how to give themselves those boundaries, so parents need to advocate for their kids and give them the boundaries that they need.
Yeah, but it's almost. I mean, this is very dramatic, but it's almost like saying to a kid, "Here's a gun. I hope you know how to handle."
Well,
you
more
know.
what it is it's like saying, "Hey, do you want to go walk to Mexico right now? Have fun."
Yeah. That's
Because
exact-
they have
that's
the
it.
whole world can
That's
get
it.
to them.
That's it.
They're not just they're in their room and they feel kind of private, but it's the whole world.
Yeah. That's such an important message. Yeah. The whole world,
So
right?
I think that's
yeah.
that's the biggest thing to remember
Yeah.
is that honestly you're giving them access to the entire world
Yeah.
and the world
has access to them in their bedrooms, right?
Right.
Yeah. So no, but I first of all I want to thank you for the work you do and for being such kind, caring, funny people. And what a pleasure it was to sit down with you. And thank you so much for this. I really appreciate it.
Well,
I want
thank you for having us.
I want to
you.
thank everyone for watching today, and thank our producer Chris Flynn and Franklin Community Cable Access. It's an important asset for our community, and we want to keep it going because it brings people together. It allows us to do government meetings, and it's very, very important asset. So thank you all, and appreciate your watching today. Thank you.
This program was made possible by your Franklin friends and neighbors, good folks just like you. Thanks for supporting Franklin TV. And thanks for watching.